So brain rot has been named as Word of the Year by the Oxford Press. Even now, when you're watching this video or any other YouTube video, you're probably looking over here, looking at new recommendations, suggestions, new videos. You might see a very catchy thumbnail. If you clicked on this video, you were probably caught by the thumbnail, the colors, the style. Maybe you liked the design, I don't know. And probably below, you're trying to read the comments while listening to my voice. I am guilty of that, and this is something that if I think about, I never did in the past. I started doing this some years ago. Some people mention that this is a potential effect of brain rot. But what is brain rot? Why everybody talks about it? All the content now is about it. I want to focus on the linguistic aspect of it, and I want to do so by reading the actual article from the Oxford University Press. Brain is one of the most important, if not the most important organ we possess, and the most complex organ we possess in our body. So our brain is up here inside our skull, and the rot is the process of deterioration. When we have, for example, an apple, with time it cannot be eaten anymore. It's not edible anymore because it's starting to rot. Can our brains rot? Let's have a look at how they chose this as the expression, the phrase of the year. Basically, they have created a short list, so they considered all the words that were looked up on the dictionary, the words that were included more in conversations, in articles, in any kind of aspect where language is considered. Brain rot has been declared as the word of the year 2024. Here I also saw this graph, and it's very interesting. September skyrocketed. Brain rot is defined as the supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as the result of overconsumption of material, now particularly online content, considered to be trivial or unchallenging. If something is trivial, it's ordinary. For example, a trivial topic, a trivial conversation is something that we don't put a lot of effort into, nothing challenging for our brain, nothing that would make us think a lot. So here we have a trivial kind of content. You look at it, your day hasn't changed much, and unchallenging. So you don't take time to consider, to ponder, think about what you're looking at, basically. You're just given content. That's it. The first recorded use of brain rot was in 1854. They did not have social media back then, definitely. So it's about living a simple lifestyle in the natural world, and this has been used by Henry David Thoreau. I can see how this can be similar and connected also to our modern meaning. Thoreau criticizes society's tendency to devalue complex ideas. This is something I truly encounter every single day now. We try to make complex things, very difficult items, notions, and pieces of information simple, which is not necessarily wrong, but sometimes we want to make it too simple. I always think of different fields. For example, architecture, you have to build a structure that sustains a building. It is not simple at all. It can't be done by somebody who has zero knowledge about it. And you can't possibly simplify too much because the building will collapse. I've mentioned that brain is complex, but humans are complex in general. Every aspect that considers human health is complex. I wouldn't even know where to start when it comes to studying medicine. Think about an eye, think about your tongue, think about the lungs, think about the bones, think about our reproductive system, digestive system. Everything is complex. I don't want my doctor to be simplistic about it. I want my doctor, he or she, I want them to know everything there is to know about my complexity. Final example, language learning. How many videos that you see contain this clickbaity style of learn a language in 10 days, learn a language in 2 weeks, learn a language in a month? It's not possible to grasp a language in its complexity, going deep into the language within weeks. I mean, you should probably be doing that the entire day, and maybe, perhaps, in that instance, yes, but if you think about learning a language, it takes years and years. And then the article continues with describing how widespread the use of the word, of the phrase brain rot has become, because now all platforms talk about brain rot. When the Oxford University Press released this article and they decided to nominate this word of the year, I saw brain rot everywhere, everywhere. Now also in Italian language people are saying, questa è il brain rot. So basically now it's becoming part of everyday conversation. After the article, but also before. Now there has been a very serious boom, and it's especially among Gen Z and Gen Alpha. It's gained momentum, so even more people have been using it, especially because people are worrying about the consequences of this behavior and the consequences of this type of language, because it has been impacting also the language. There are the mentions of these expressions which are completely new, and if a person does not use the internet, doesn't even know what these are about. The impacts on cognitive functions and attention in the young. My personal insight on this is that I've seen this kind of content being used by all generations now. We have adults and we have teenagers and children, very young children. The difference between these generations is probably that adults have had a before and after social media. Very young adults or teenagers, they have been growing surrounded by this already. So it's the norm. It's very normal to just open your Instagram, open your TikTok, considering this as part of your daily routine. For instance, I adore long-form content, but I also personally struggle much more now compared to the past. Watching a video that is 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it is an endeavor. It takes a lot of energy, and when I was a teenager, when I was studying in high school, when I was studying at university even, there wasn't all of this surrounding me. Whenever I wanted to even have a look at something funny or entertaining, I would watch 20-30 minutes of YouTube, or I would watch a movie, play video games also, but it's not connected to video formats. And now short content is also designed in such a way that you just get whatever you're interested into. And this also happens to me. Whenever I go to sleep, sometimes I'm not sleepy, I grab my phone and I start scrolling. And I say, no, I've scrolled for 2 hours, I've been scrolling for an hour and a half, and I sense that this is wrong. I feel like my generation, I'm the oldest person that could be in Gen Z because I'm a 97 kind of girl. When you're from this age, you've lived in between the ages. When I was a very young teenager, when I was 12, 13, I was too young to have a smartphone. And then the change started to occur when I was a young adult. When I was a young adult, I had a touch screen, and I also knew that this kind of format started to develop, but it was very early, very, very early on. I saw that Australia banned social media. There are different articles about it. I could make an entire video about this and analyzing the article, so we can also learn some English with that. And basically what I've seen is that also some of my students get distracted very quickly. So what can we do to improve this? Honestly, this is the question of the year, probably of the decade. And teenagers, tutors, educators, and also parents, we adults basically, must figure out a way how to help teenagers and help children fight against this, in my opinion. I wouldn't blame a teenager for spending the entire day on their phones. That's what they are growing up with. This is the society we have, and older people than me have built for them. And all we can do is try to see the problem from an internal perspective, an external perspective, and talking about this maybe can make us think more about this. Whenever brain rot started to be an expression used more and more, I am more aware of the moments in my day in which I spend time on the phone, and I'm more deliberate about it. I say, I take 20 minutes, so I want to just relax. But in that moment, I say these 20 minutes are for relaxing, for unwinding. And then I go back to doing something more real, something maybe that could be more beneficial for me. I don't want to get lost in this kind of tornado of short content and meaningless and mindless scrolling. I just want to be very deliberate about it. And it's difficult, it's challenging, but I also want to be more focused and more careful about what I do during the day. Language learning also suffers from this. I'm not gonna lie, I love short content when it comes to language learning, but some people might be skipping the deliberate practice you need to learn a language, the long time spent reading a book, reading an article, reading something which has more body to it. It's not just reels, it's not just watching 30 seconds of a short video and bam, the language. Yeah, this was kind of it. Let me know what you think about this. I'll leave you the article below, and also let me know what you think about the topic. Here I'll leave you my most recent week must. It's December, so I really like these. And also I'm going to leave you my most recent video from the regular series. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you very soon with a new piece of content. Bye!